Okay, so this is the Ace winch plate. And the first thing you notice, the instructions tell you have to trim right here on the frame. I'm not sure why. All they had to do is cut out here. And that's some feedback I'll give, the Ace folks. But basically, this has to sit inside of the frame rail here. So I don't know if you can see right here. It's outside. It needs to go in. And that's because this frame part right here is too much for this. I don't know if this fits a JK or something else, but so we're gonna trim off just a little bit of this right here on the Jeep so that we can fit this inside of here. I believe that could sit on top of it. It looks like it's about, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch or so that has to go right here. So we'll be back. All right, so this is what it looks like after I grinded it down. So basically just cleared out the end of there. I'm gonna put some black on there just so it doesn't rust. So stay tuned. So next thing we're gonna do is drill out these frame horns. They're just a little too small. It's like a 5/8 bit. That's the size of the hardware. Actually, this is like 39/64. So we're gonna drill out these 1, 2, 3, 4 on each frame horn, and get those oversized, get them painted so that the hardware will pass through. Okay, so on the winch plate on the inside, the side ones here is the factory 16mm bolts. So, and they're just threaded from the factory for that. So we'll go ahead and button those down, and then these front ones are going to be through the frame. And those are the I don't know, they're 5/8, but they're the large ones that grade 8 ones that Ace gave us, and then we'll be sort of loosely ready to go. Okay, so the stock fog lights fit perfectly in the holes, but the hardware they give you is too big. So we're gonna have to drill these out or get smaller hardware. Since I already got the hardware and I'm going, I'm gonna drill them out. It looks like they're about a 1/4 inch. So we're gonna drill these 1, 2, 3, 4 holes out so that they fit the hardware that Ace gives us, 1/4 inch. All right, now that the lights are on, I'm gonna be putting the Warren Fair lead on. That way it's a lot easier to do, so I don't have to reach up inside. So I'll go ahead and get that done and then get this all put together. All right, since I'm working alone, I'm not able to really film this. All you'll see is a lot of struggling and cursing. But we got this on. Harness is just sitting in there for right now. Tested the lights, they work. We've got everything kind of squared away, so you kind of get the general feel. The winch is going in next, and then everything's gonna get tightened down. All right, so running some clearance issues here with the Warren Zeon 10S and the fog lights right here. They are jammed against there, but we're not even tight yet. So this test fitting, and also I'm not quite able to line up the bottom mounts. I'm gonna have to expand those holes a little bit so that we can get this in here. So definitely gonna take a little fabricating to get this to work. I probably need maybe a couple washers in here to give us a little bit more space, because we're already bottomed out against there and this is flush. You can't go in any further. So I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit and make this fit. So before we mount this winch up, there's already 2 in there, so you can kind of see them. In these holes for the mounting, there are nuts that go in there, but the nuts will move around as you move it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put them in there, and I'm gonna get some masking tape and just kind of tape them off just so they don't move around. Then I'll keep them nice in there. That way when we mount it, they'll stay in. Not sure if you can see this, but in order to get the bolts in, you have to put the bumper in first. And then it's very tight to get the bolts in for the winch. So it's very low clearance and very poor visibility. Got this one kind of in an angle. I'm hoping I can get it in. Here's what we're going to use to spool the winch line on. So it should be under load. We'll be doing that once we get it started. You can see I've got the connector on there. So I ran the cables in here and just right to the battery. It's pretty simple. I think this was like a 13 and this one over here was a 10. So that's hooked up and just ran it up through that opening there. I was a little tight on the other side, a little too close to the radiator, so I ran it outside of the radiator over there. So we'll go ahead and get started on here. So if you look in there, you'll see the opening and there's this little key thing, I forget what they call it. And then there's this little wire here. So we'll get that abrasion sleeve and the hook on, and then we'll try to get this spooled in. With a lot of work, we were able to get the rope through. I had to end up using a pry bar. Now I've got to put this little key puck thing in there like this, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to figure it out, and I'll let you know what I figure out. So what I ended up doing is taking this little puck thing, I put a socket inside this loop and slid it in there and then pulled it back. It worked fine.
Please like and subscribe to us today.